everybody, and welcome to Team 8's presentation of Report of Findings. I am Sarah, and my group members and I are excited to have you explore greener power generation with us. And now I'm going to be handing over the presentation to Hakeem.
So what are the benefits of greener power generation? So the benefits are that high school students, they use electronics, and so greener power generation can help them recharge their electronics. And also, greener power generation has a benefit over regular fossil fuels. It doesn't produce any negative byproducts. All right, here we have the roadmap. My name is Hakeem, and my subtopic is tidal power.
My name is Eric Toft, and my subtopic is biomass energy.
My name is Sarah Khalil, and my subtopic is agrivoltaics.
My name is Nazia Kamal, and my subtopic is geothermal power.
All right. So what if I told you that it doesn't actually take a fortune teller to predict the future? Now, humans actually predict the future all the time, and an example of this is when we predict the movement of the tides. So the movement of the tides is actually created by the movement of the moon around the Earth. And here's a great video that will display that. So as you can see, the moon's gravitational effect causes the waves to move around the Earth, which causes tidal movement. Thank you, Nazia. So as high school students, a lot of you may like to go to the beach to have fun with your friends. Maybe you like to go surfing, as you can see over here in this image. And so you might be wondering, well, how did these tides come into effect? How are tides actually created? So tides are actually created because of the gravitational effect, which is caused by the moon. I would like to show you guys this video that explains the gravitational effect pretty well. So as we can see, the moon travels around the Earth, which causes the tides to also follow in that same direction. Following slides, I'll speak about how the tidal power utilizes the tides to generate energy. Tidal power relates to greener power generation. Why? It harnesses the movement of the tides to produce electricity without creating any negative byproducts, which is the goal of greener power generation systems. Now, as you can see in this image, we begin with a high level of tide. And so when these suicide gates are opened, it creates a pressure for the water to flow from the high level of tide to the ocean, and it passes through a tidal turbine. And now the pressure causes the tidal turbine to spin really, really quickly. This causes the power generation. To talk about tidal turbines, we must take a look at the blade element momentum theory, or BEM for short. BEM has 3 steps. The first step is taking a blade off a tidal turbine, or in this case, for example, we have a wind turbine. Next, we take that same blade and then we cut it up into different subsections. After that, we will study each subsection individually. And so we end up with this model over here. This is the blade subsection that we just took off the blade. And so what we're doing in this case is we're going to study the forces caused by the tidal movement. And so this will allow us to optimize the blade design since we're studying each individual blade subsection along the entire blade. So this allows us to fully understand the forces caused at each point on the blade's length. So what can be done using BEM? We can create the optimal blade design, but how can we do this? So now that we know the forces caused by the tidal movement, which flows along the blade's length over here, we can now figure out what the lift to drag ratio is on a single tidal blade. So here's a little example I would like to show you guys that might explain this a little bit better. So imagine we have this tidal blade here, and where my fingers are is where the blade is attached to the rotor, indicated in this image over here. So the blade will actually move at different speeds as it's spinning around, because the end that is further away from the rotor will have to move at a quicker rate to catch up to the center over here, where my fingers are. Now, because of this, there will be a different lift to drag ratio across the blade's length. So now what we can do is we can actually change the shape of the blade so it looks something like this. Now we'll end up with a constant lift to drag ratio by changing the geometry of the blade. And so now, because the lift to drag ratio is now constant, it maximizes the power output. I would like to now hand over the presentation to Nazia.
Hello, everyone. Have you ever used a filter before? Well, today I was using a filter and I was trying to pick up a subject that I could start my exam preparations with, just like Dan over here doing that. We also have a bunch of friends enjoying a filter time where they're clicking pictures using filters. Well, filters are fun, colorful, and definitely the best mode of engagement. But can these filters be used to enhance and maximize the efficiency of a greener power generating source? That's the question for today. So let's just jump right into it and see if it's able to do so. All right. My name is Nazia Kumalneha, and today I will be talking about geothermal power. Geothermal power is a power that is generated using Earth's core temperature. Our Earth is pretty hot. Well, it is 5,200 degrees Celsius at the core, which is used to heat the water right at the surface, as we can see in Figure 7. When we basically evaporate this water, it produces water vapor, which is transported using the hot water pipes into the separator unit. The separator unit has a filter and a dryer inside of it, which is used to produce clean and dry steam. This dry steam is then used to turn turbines, which are connected to a generator that produces geothermal power. Well, everything looks really good, except what happens to that unfiltered impure fluid? That unfiltered impure fluid in the separator is then transported to the cooling tower, where it's condensed back into liquid form, back to the underground water layer through the injection well. This allows a constant pressure to be kept and allows the production of geothermal power to go on and on. But when we started speaking about filters, I was talking about how important they can be, right? So are they really important? Let's jump right in to see if they really are in our next slide. Here we have a rusty turbine blade, and here we have a really clean and functioning turbine blade. Figure 8 and Figure 10 are days and nights apart. And who creates this difference? It's a filter that creates this difference. Well, let's see. In the separator unit, we have this kind of horizontal filter where impure organic fluid enters. It is unfiltered at the beginning, but when passed through the filter, it becomes free of impurities. When steam is produced that is used to turn turbines, this steam is impurity-free from any organic fluid. Hence, it does not cause any rusting. This steam allows to increase the lifetime of a turbine, and not only that, turbines are able to function more efficiently. This helps geothermal power to stand a position when generating electricity, as it is able to provide electricity efficiently using a geothermal power plant that uses a filter. So let's see why and how geothermal power is so important for us. Here we see geothermal power at its best. Geothermal power is green, it is renewable, and at the same time, using the filter, it is sustainable. Imagine yourself in this spa at Iceland. It is geothermally powered, so you do not have to worry about global warming or climate change while you're enjoying in the spa. And if this spa can be geothermally powered, imagine how many houses and factories can be done the same way. So the next time you use a filter, think about how important filters can become, and let's give geothermal power a great shot. I will now hand over the presentation to Eric, who will be talking about the importance of biomass energy.
Currently, we are killing the earth with our dependency on fossil fuels. To save the earth, we should use biomass energy, which uses organic material as an energy source. Many of you high school students are learning to drive and may be wondering how to do this in a greener way. Well, your car could start using something called biofuel. For my research question, I will be investigating how does biomass offer a cleaner power solution by producing biofuel to replace petroleum products. To answer this, I will be using the engineering theory of pyrolysis. Pyrolysis is similar to combustion, except there is no oxygen. Pyrolysis is the thermal decomposition of organic material in the absence of oxygen. In the case of wood, Through pyrolysis, it creates carbon, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, hydrogen, methane, and ash, all of which are gases except for ash. For the pyrolysis of biomass, organic material enters a pyrolysis reactor where it undergoes pyrolysis. Then the raw gases are sent to a cyclone where char contaminants are separated. The remaining raw gas is sent to a quencher where it is sprayed with water to produce bio-oil. How is biomass energy considered green? Well, that is answered through the renewability of biomass. Biomass is organic and can be replaced through replantation. Additionally, the byproducts of pyrolysis, biochar, can be used for soil improvement. Fuel from biomass energy is considered to be cleaner due to having reduced pollutants. Biofuel is considered to be carbon neutral as the carbon released during production and utilization is absorbed by the biomass through photosynthesis. Additionally, petroleum contains heavy metals due to years of geological processes. These heavy metals are released as pollutants. As biofuel does not undergo these geological processes, it does not contain these additional contaminants for additional pollution. To summarize, my research question was, how does biomass energy offer a cleaner power solution by producing biofuel to replace petroleum products? I found that biomass energy offers a cleaner power solution by using renewable biomass and by producing biofuel that doesn't contain geological contaminants, resulting in less pollution. Now I will hand it off to Sarah, who will talk about agrivoltaics.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah, and I'm here to talk about the sun. We all have been taught that the sun is the source of life and it gives us energy, and it's the reason why this flower flourishes. But the question is, what does that give us? It's energy. Scientists took this principle and manipulated it with technology, and it's the reason why they have created solar panels to be the flower that provides us energy to charge all of our electronics, and it brings us to agrivoltaics. So it's a creative approach that combines agriculture and solar power generation in the same area, optimizing land use and supporting greener power generation. It involves installing solar panels above farmland, providing shade for the crops while generating electricity from sunlight. By using land for both agriculture and renewable energy production, agrivoltaics contributes to a cleaner environment and a more efficient use of resources. The photovoltaic theory explains how solar energy is converted into electricity using solar cells. These cells absorb sunlight and release electrons, and once these electrons flow through an electrical circuit, they generate electricity that can be used to power various devices, making it clean and a renewable energy source. Now, on to examples of, you guessed it, agrivoltaics. Greenhouse farming is an excellent example of agrivoltaics since it involves integrating solar panels with greenhouse structures. Agroforestry systems, they combine trees and shrubs with agricultural crops, incorporating solar panels for a renewable energy production. Water pumping. Water pumping uses solar energy to produce irrigation, to produce power irrigation systems, and is a very effective, cost-effective solution for watering crops. How can we effectively generate electricity with the use of photovoltaic technology in agrivoltaics? In agrivoltaics, we effectively generate electricity by combining the photovoltaic technology with agricultural practices, which is basically installing solar panels above farmland, and these solar cells absorb the sunlight, release electrons, and create an electrical current based on the photovoltaic theory. Agrivoltaics allows us to produce clean and renewable energy while supporting sustainable farming and reducing our environmental impact. Now, I would like to pass the next slide on to Nazia.
Thank you for listening. By listening to our presentation, we hope that we have inspired you on greener power generation. All right, so here are our references.